Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Expressive Tone TV, conveying your thoughts and feelings to the world. Guys, Dele Farotimi, the human activist. I don't know if you remember this guy. He's this obedient guy that, wrote that poem that I voted for my candidates. I did not snatch any ballot box for him. And that is beautiful poem. Is this a very intelligent obedient? He has responded to Professor Wole Soyinka, because Wole Soyinka said obedience are GBAhue. GBAhue are people that seize opportunity and they snatch it and run away with it. That is GBAhue. So Dele Farotimi now has explained in details to us, especially those of us that are not Yorubas, what is the actual meaning of GBAhue. Because Professor Wole Soyinka said obedients are bullies, obedients are, they are people that just want to use gra to collect power. But Dele Farotimi said no, rather it is the people in authority now that, according to what Tinubu said, that power is not served a la carte. That power, you have to snatch it, you have to grab it, and you run away with it. That was what he said, and that was what he did. So I don't know why Professor is saying that his obedience now that are GBAhue. So Dele Farotimi has actually explained to us, especially those of us that don't understand Yoruba. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook, on TikTok, and also like the video so that everybody will get to understand what GBAhue mean. What is the meaning of GBAhue? Who are those that actually ran away with power? Who are the really fascists? Initially there was still this issue of fascists when he said obedience are fascist and all that. So some of this grammar now, he's a professor. We are beginning to understand them better. But we thank God for Dele Farotimi. He's one of those that read his books too. So he's interpreting some of this grammar to us. I want you to watch the video right now. I will see you in my next video. Cheers.
Reactions to what Prof said in South Africa. I found the video, a very short clip, and I was incensed. And in my anger, very unlike me, I reacted. But that is not the way of the wise. It is not wise to react. Wisdom is found in responses. Because in responses, you find deep reflection and you're able to be more measured, and then you can deal with the issue rather than the persons. So after my initial reaction, I decided I wasn't going to speak to the issue again for a while. And then I began to ponder it. And the more I pondered the issue, the more I began to understand the need to speak to all of us about the phenomenon that I have tagged GBAhue crazy. There is nothing about it that is crazy other than the fact that GBAhue is happening in a crazy environment. But you know me and my predilection with definitions. And again, given the fact that the word GBAhue comes from the Yoruba language, it is important that as it has now attained a nationalistic context, it is important that we all understand the etymology so that we might better understand the meaning. So I was thinking, what was the closest English word that would literally explain what the Yorubas meant by the coinage GBAhue. GBAhue is a contraction of a phrase, GBAhue, literally means slap arm. That is GBAhue. But what does this mean? So I went and I remembered this word, a chancer, is a slang that has its root in Irish language, the Gaelic language. Is transferred itself pretty well into the English language. But who is a chancer as per the English language? A chancer is a slang, an unscrupulous or dishonest opportunist who is prepared to try any dubious scheme for making or furthering his or her own hand. Okay, when you delve deeper and you go to the meaning in Irish English, it says someone who chances their hand a lot or pretends to be someone they are not, or tries to fool people into doing something. Key word here is the difference between the classic English definition of chancer and the Irish English root of the word, or pretends to be someone they are not. So I told myself, it is critical that we engage with this subject so that we move away from engaging with the person and then ignore all the issues that we should be dealing with, which are, what is GBAhue? Who is a GBAhue? Nigeria and GBAhue. The sustainability of GBAhue in the face of the truth. Tinubu and GBAhue. Tinubu's February GBAhue. Explanations of GBAhue. Deniers of GBAhue. So we'll now deal with it, not necessarily in that alphabetical order. So what we'll do is this. Who is a GBAhue? We define it. A GBAhue is a chancer. Somebody who will do anything to advance his cause. He would assume the identity of anyone to advance his cause. He will snatch it, he will grab it, he will run with it. That is a GBAhue, a chancer. The man who is currently ensconced in the presidency of Nigeria is a GBAhue. That is just the simple truth borne out by all the facts that are in the public space. His name is not his name. His date of birth is not his date of birth. His gender is not his own. His certificates are not his own. He has no classmates anywhere. He is a chancer par excellence. If I may borrow I think I'm pronouncing that French word right. He's a chancer. That is the chancer. That is the GBAhue. But why? Why is it that the tag that clearly belongs to one man, the crime family he heads, the political tendency he leads, whose life is a testament to GBAhue, is ignored, and those seeking to break the fetters of virtual slavery, which is what membership of the Nigerian state is, are the ones that are being labeled as GBAhue. So what I want us to do is, why were we labeled GBAhue? Because when I say we, it was clear that it was our victory that was being denied. But I don't want to jump ahead of myself. It is critical that when you want to hang a dog, you must give it a bad name. In marketing and in branding, naming is important. At the end of the fraudulent INEC process, when Bola Ahmed Tinubu was declared the president-elect of Nigeria, a word was introduced into the Nigerian political lexicon. The aggrieved were tagged fascists. Those who carried no guns during the election were labeled fascists. Those who had their skulls broken open were labeled fascists. Those who were threatened openly, without camouflage, without hiding, by known criminal associates of Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, or the man known as Bola Ahmed Tinubu, people who were the victims of the baby Ikla of Obiapo Wike, they were the ones who were labeled fascists. When this happened, I couldn't bring myself to engage with what I was hearing. And privately, I might even have been one of those who found excuses and explanations for that turn of phrase. But the reality is that the true fascists are not unknown to all, including the one who tagged us fascists. That moment passed. And then I asked myself, why was this necessary? Regardless of how strongly one might feel about the vociferous nature, quote and unquote, of the obedient movement, or even persons within the movement. And then I realized that, like I said already, it was about inverting the truth. Because it was very clear to anyone watching the electoral process, and it remains so, and it is the testimony of multiple Nigerian and multinational observers team. It was clear exactly who the fascists were. But the moment passed. So, when this one happened again in faraway Stellenbosch, I asked myself, what is the purpose of the prof's labeling of everything we did as graduates? And then I recall one Yoruba proverb. It says, "Aitete mole, ole moloko." If you hesitate to apprehend the thief that you find on your farm, it is emboldened to declare you the thief on the farm that you have tilled. If you move away from the labeling of graduate, and we've already made clear exactly who the graduate is in this situation, and you now begin to deal with the substance of what Prof said. And why is what Prof said important in any way? Before I begin to deal with the substance, let's be clear about one thing. Professor Soyinka was 26 years old when he directed the play, A Dance of the Forest, I believe it was called, at Nigeria's independence. I was in Bonn. How many 26-year-olds today have a voice in Nigeria, talk less of being given the opportunity to present a play, even at our Independence Day celebration? Does anybody even feel sufficiently independent enough to be inspired into writing anything That was Professor Soyinka, 1960. He was 26 years old. He's 89. It is redundant for us, this generation and those of my generation and those of you who call yourselves Gen Zs. It is redundant in the extreme for us to be waiting for Professor Soyinka to tell us the truth that are our own objective realities. He has lived his time. Being angry with him is even stupid for us. For us to even be angry is stupid. Why are we waiting on an 89-year-old man to tell us the truth of our reality? If Prof says we're fascists, who are we? Have we declared who we are? Must we respond in abuse? That was what I meant when I said I reacted. I think we need to move beyond reactions and deal with the reality. This man was in prison between 1967 and 1969. He was in prison because he found himself completely incapable of dealing with the massacre of Igbos, and he was looking to mediate a peace. He stood on the side of the Biafrans. So don't call him an ethnic jingoist. He's anything but. But even gods can be wrong. Gods can be wrong. And that's why their gods are not God. Prof is wrong this time around. And we should be bold to tell him he is wrong without necessarily even addressing his person. It's our own reality. He has raised specific allegations, and I took time to list about 5 of them that I believe we must respond to. He said the Labour Party came God. I say without any equivocation that Prof had been fed lies by his friends. His friend is not exactly a man of honor. So I am sorry. Prof has been fed lies by his friend. And by his friend, I mean the friend he has acknowledged publicly and that we all know to be his friend. Everybody have their friends. I'm sure even Lucifer has a friend. Even Jesus, I'm sure if Lucifer repents, Jesus will take him back. So, Prof has every right to his friends, but he does not have any right to his own truths. The truths are clear. The Labour Party clearly won this election